Binge the full week of The Ray Taylor Show ad-free over at inspireddisorder.com/plus.
This is The Ray Taylor Show.
Welcome to Top 5 from The Ray Taylor Show, where each week I normally will be ranking movies in a variety of categories, from franchise to subgenre to director and actors. No film is left unwatched as I break down my top 5 picks. So join me every Sunday for a new episode and get ready to dive into the world of film. But in this episode, dive into the world of TV with Top 5 from The Ray Taylor Show. In this episode, as I said, not talking about movies, I'm doing TV. Specifically, I'm ranking my favorite TV series from last year, 2022. As I like to do at the beginning of every year, do my top 5 lists for the different movies, TV shows, and different things from the past year. Sometimes pop culture is another episode. But this episode, I'm talking about the TV shows. There's been so many epic shows that have been available on so many streaming platforms, from Netflix, Apple TV, Hulu, Peacock, Paramount Plus, Disney Plus, HBO Max. So many different platforms to choose from. Impossible to watch them all, but I've watched a lot, reviewed a lot in the past year, and these are the shows that made an impact on me in last year. So that is why these shows are on the list, and these are the shows that I want to promote and talk about. And I would imagine if you are a subscriber to this show that you will not be very surprised necessarily in these shows that I'm going to be talking about. But let's get it started, shall we? With my number 5 favorite, my 5th favorite TV show, TV series that I've watched last year. This is one of a few that are on this list that have also been reviewed episode by episode as part of my episode recap podcast that I put out on Tuesday. This one, however, is a new addition to that series that I'm doing. And this show, one of the most unique, one of the most original premises for a reality TV show, coming in at number 5, is The Rehearsal, Season 1 from HBO. Like I said, this is Nathan Fielder's show where he simulates different situations to help people overcome a difficult thing that they want to achieve in their life. The first episode being a guy named Core wanting to come clean to his trivia team that he didn't have a master's degree. The second episode is the start of what will be a multiple episode arc of a woman named Angela, who's in her 40s, who wants to simulate what it's like to have a child. Somebody that's waited for the perfect time in her life to be with the perfect man to start a family. And Nathan Fielder is recreating these things in one of the most unique reality TV shows I have ever seen. This show is you're constantly questioning what's real and what's staged, but it's definitely a perfect way to contemplate the different themes of the show, where, preparing for tough events or knowing the answers before they're asked, trying to manipulate, control the future. Very Truman Show-esque or Synecdoche, New York-esque. In many ways, definitely has a lot of those vibes. In the first episode, Nathan Fielder's compared to Willy Wonka, who on the surface is a dream maker, which as Nathan Fielder in many ways is trying to, engineer these people's dreams into becoming a reality. But as we see in this series, things take a dark turn, just as they do in Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. So very poignant and apt comparison in the first episode of Season 1 of The Rehearsal. And the show raises a lot of questions about privacy, about manipulation, about honesty. Just a very interesting show that I was excited to start dissecting in my Tuesday episode recap show, which the Rehearsal Recap podcast is available, and I recorded the second episode this past week. So subscribe to that if you want to get my in-depth thoughts as I break down in detail every nitty-gritty aspect of every episode of this show. But that is why when I'm looking for shows for this list, originality, doing something different, a show that like touches me emotionally, right, will elicit emotional responses from me in a way that, other things don't do. And there's a handful of shows that really either touch me on a personal level, trying to do something completely different, or maybe encompassing all of those things at the same time. But The Rehearsal is definitely a show that makes you think, and it really exposes you to all the different kind of quote-unquote kinds of crazy that are out there in the world, in addition to Nathan Fielder himself, who's a very unique person as it is. So that, coming in at number 5, is The Rehearsal Season 1 from HBO. Moving on to my 4th favorite show of the year. This is a show that I really didn't hear anybody talk about. This is a show that is exclusive to a streaming network that may not be the most popular streaming network, but it is a show that I heard recommended on one of my favorite podcasts, the Slash Filmcast, or the Filmcast as it were, and a show that the people involved I'm very impressed with, and despite not knowing anything about the subject matter of the show, was still blown away, and still the show got me in every way emotionally. And it's unclear if there's going to be more of this show. I hope there is, but that show that I'm talking about, coming in at number 4, is Players, Season 1 from Paramount+. Players is a mockumentary-style television show, and I really don't even like calling it mockumentary because it's not like making fun of that style, but it is by the same guys that did American Vandal, who tell their stories, their fictional stories, in the style of a documentary series. So American Vandal was telling these stories from high school in the style of a true crime documentary series. Players is telling a fictional story in the style of a sports documentary, where it's following these people, these team of esports players, as they are on a run to get a championship, right? And it does all of the things that a great sports movie does. It does all of the things that a great, sports documentary does. It's well written. It's a great story. The different moments are amazing. The characters, even the perceptions that you have of these characters are constantly recontextualized as you're watching this show, where definitely a lot of humor. This is a comedy, I would say, but definitely how the context for a lot of things as you watch this get redefined and add more to these characters and flesh them out even more. And it's a show that has a ton of heart, a ton of humor, and it's a show that I got emotional, right? It gets that crazy, it's very emotionally manipulative in a way that sports movies can be, in a way sports documentaries can be. Whether it's like an underdog story, you have a young phenom, you have an older jaded veteran, you have the powerful coach or leader, right? You have the aspects of teamwork and camaraderie. Like, all of those different ingredients make a very emotionally manipulative show that makes me laugh, makes me cry, gets me super invested in what happens with these characters, and makes me want them to succeed, even though they're playing a game I know nothing about, even though they're in a world of esports that I know nothing about. I do not care. I am in the vibe of this show every minute of it, and I absolutely love this show, and it's something that I hope gets a second season. It's never been officially canceled, but there's also been no talk of. It's just amazing. I don't know why there wouldn't. They set it up for a second season. It doesn't necessarily have to have a second season, But I would love to see whatever these guys do that made this show. And by these guys, I mean the creators, Dan Peralt and Tony Yacinda. Whatever these guys do, I love the style they do it, the way they're able to make it feel authentic, like you're watching a sports documentary, like you're watching an actual documentary of this esports team, but then told in this amazing, it's just amazing. It's so good. That's why it's here at number 4. It had to be on the list, and it's one that, like I said, unique because of that. Nobody's doing this fake documentary thing other than, the comedy mockumentary style. They do it better than anybody, and it's amazing how it's a subject that I know nothing about or care about, and it got me so emotionally invested. It's such a powerful, their ability to tell stories in that way is so powerful, and that is why at number 4 is Players from Paramount Plus. It's a Paramount Plus exclusive. Which if you have Paramount Plus to watch, Maverick, Top Gun Maverick, go check out Players. Watch season 1. If you're into, even if you're not into esports, if you like sports movies, if you like sports documentaries, if those elements that are in those are something that get you, you will get this and it will be amazing. You don't have to know anything. It will hook you. It's amazing. It's magic. It's magic. Watch it. So that's number 4. Let's take a little break from the show to promote the benefits of Inspired Disorder Plus. So you go inspireddisorder.com/plus. Sign up, $5 a month. You get to binge the full week of The Ray Taylor Show ad-free. You get to watch all of the live painting videos I do. You get a special members-only discount and deals for all of the artwork and merch that I sell. You also get the complete podcast back catalog of every podcast I've ever produced. Hundreds of episodes, countless different podcasts. You also get access to my personal blog. A new blog comes out every week. In addition to that, you get my creative writing that I'm releasing. You also get access to Asking Me Anything. 14 years of experience podcasting. I've been creating art my entire life. I've been using Photoshop since middle school, and you can contact me to ask me questions about that or anything else. So those are the benefits for signing up for Inspired Disorder Plus. And now let's get back to the show. Moving on to my third favorite TV series of 2022. This is one that kind of came out of nowhere and got a lot of attention, which I'm happy for. It's going to have a second season. This is the first season again. Another first season show that's making my list. Coming in at number 3 is The Bear. Season 1 is an FX/Hulu show. Obviously appears on FX and then is on Hulu the next day or whatever, about a young chef from a fine dining world returns to Chicago to run his family's sandwich shop. Which it's been described, and I highly agree with it. It's a fast-paced, very stressful show. A lot of stressful momentum in this show. I've heard it compared to Uncut Gems, and it's a great comparison. If you like that type of stress-inducing entertainment in Uncut Gems and want that applied to a family sandwich shop, you would like it. And maybe if you're somebody that at one point worked in a kitchen, you will. It is very authentic to the hectic nature of working that type of job. I don't know if you would necessarily love it if you're currently in that job. It may be bringing up a little bit too much traumatic moments of having to work in that environment. But if you're somebody that's detached from that in any way, I highly recommend it. It is amazing. I myself at one point worked in a pizza kitchen, and there are many moments of this show that just bring me right back. So many of the characters remind me of people that I worked with. It's great characters, a great lead in this show. Who's the lead of this? Jeremy Allen White. So great. All of the characters are really great. This guy coming from this high-end, trained in this high-end Michelin star restaurants, and now he's going to take over his brother's place, sandwich shop, who just committed suicide. So it's also these characters dealing with the trauma of that. It's the show about this guy who has this high-end training, applying that to a regular, everyday mom and pop restaurant. And the way the season ends leads into something that I'm very excited to see how this show grows over time. Interested to see how these characters grow over time. I love the chemistry that all these characters have. I love the different characters. You have the one that like knows this chef and is inspired by this chef and is going to work at this place to work with him, knowing that he's from the high-end world of food, and she's going to work at this thing. And then you have like these people who have just worked at this mom and pop shop and didn't really have no passion for cooking, but get rejuvenated desire and passion to be great at what they do. So it brings up those emotions. There's also a great, I think episode 7 is like a one take, or at least made to look like that. Just amazing show. I'm excited to see how it goes. I loved the first season. It blew me away. And I absolutely love this show, and that's why it's coming in. Just the excitement of it and the excitement to see where it goes and how it like brought me back to those days working at a kitchen, of just that stressful nature of working at a kitchen. But yeah, it's and I love seeing people get inspired. That's catnip for me. I love that so much. And damaged people also. But yeah, so coming in at number 3 is The Bear, Season 1, which is an FX/Hulu show. Moving on to my second favorite TV series of 2022. This is not a first season. This is a show that's been around before 2022. And this is a show that I absolutely love. This is a show that has all of the different elements. This is a show that effortlessly makes me laugh. This is a show that effortlessly makes me get choked up. This is a show that brings something completely original setting, cast, stories, and a show that expanded even more and added even more good stuff in the second season that is coming in at number 2, Reservation Dogs, Season 2, another FX/Hulu show. This is a show about kids who are growing up, a series of teenagers, Native American teenagers growing up on the reservation in Oklahoma. So you're seeing the life of those people. You're seeing the different dynamics between this friend group who in the first season was, recovering from one of their friends committing suicide. So another story about suicide. Seeing how that event in some ways broke up the group. In the second season, it opens that up to their parents and the adults who also had a similar issue with a death that broke apart their friend group. And you're seeing how these kids kind of come together and realize a dream for their friend that was no longer there, realizing a trip to California to fulfill a dream for them, and also for them to kind of have some closure and say goodbye to him. It is a show that in a short episode, in just a scene, can take you from effortless comedy, where it's not trying to be over the top, it's not trying to be goofy or wacky, just in the nature of these people existing and the funny things that can happen in life, having effortlessly funny scenes turn into also effortlessly emotional and heart-wrenching scenes. Like, it is so amazing what this show is able to do. And I love all of these actors. They're so much fun. Willie Jack is my favorite ever. All of them, all the characters, all of the actors, all of the story's great. I love this show so much. This is produced by Taika Waititi, but mainly run by Sterling Harjo, which is great. And apparently, like, his writing crew, they were able to add another member of their writing crew to the story. And I think second season is even better than the first season. And I'm excited to see. I want the show to go on for as long as they can. because it's so much fun. I love this show so much. Obviously, that's why it's here at number 2. And it's a show that I loved watching and talking about. I reviewed both the first and second. I've reviewed all of these shows, obviously. Recently reviewed season 2 of Reservation Dogs, and it's got great writing, great acting, a ton of heart, just so much emotion packed into every moment, like I said. And the second season opens up to even more characters, and sometimes when shows open up to more characters, it dilutes the show in a way, and I think this just adds even more. Because in so many ways, these adult characters are mirroring a lot of the same thing that these kids are going through, and I think that's an interesting aspect to it as well. So coming in at number 2, my second favorite TV series of 2022 is Reservation Dogs Season 2. Highly recommend checking it out. Obviously, it's my number 2. I don't know why I say that every time, but I do recommend it.
I want to take a quick break from the show to let you all know that there is official merch for the Ray Taylor Show. Head on over to inspireddisorder.com. You can get t-shirts, different artwork available, different designs, all on high-quality materials in all the sizes. There's also iPhone cases made of biodegradable material. That's right. This is not bad for the environment. This is good for the environment. So all of those designs that are available on t-shirts are also available on phone cases. Designed by me, sold by me. Head on over to inspireddisorder.com to support the Ray Taylor Show and promote it out in the world, so all of the people in your life can see that you are a fan of the Ray Taylor Show. Now, let's get back to that very show right now.
Coming in at my number 1, my favorite TV show, TV series of 2022. This is a show that blew me away in so many ways. It is a show that is gorgeously filmed. It is a story that is so interesting and original. It is a premise that is like, man, it hits with a ton of bricks. It's exploring ideas in a way that are so original and so powerful, I would say. And it's left me hanging by my fingernails with the cliffhanger that they ended the season with. So definitely excited. Instantly, no show was I so excited to instantly see more of than the season finale of this show. But coming in at my number 1 slot, my favorite TV series of 2022 is Severance Season 1, an Apple TV Plus exclusive. Some good stuff over there. Ted Lasso, another great show. Didn't have anything come out this past year, but Severance Season 1, just so gorgeous. This one created by Ben Stiller, nonetheless. Actually, no, it's created by Dan Erickson, but Ben Stiller, I think, directed a lot of the episodes, and he's a big part of the show, producer of the show. It stars Adam Scott, who is our main character. Love Adam Scott, and then Zach Cherry is amazing as well. You also have great actors, other actors, great, let's see the cast here. Just kind of surprising, the cast that they got. You have John Turturro, Christopher Walken, Patricia Arquette, and then many others. But those are some of the big ones that show up a lot in the series. And an interesting premise, a sci-fi, a very original sci-fi type of a take, near future. You have this thing, procedure people can get to where they get severed and they don't have any recollection of their life inside work, and vice versa. While they're inside work, they have no recollection of their life outside of work. So in essence, kind of splitting their person into 2 separate people, in the show referred to as innies and outies. But how that comes to fruition in this show and realized in this show is very much a comparison of heaven and hell, where when you are severed, people are using this severed procedure to eliminate hell, to section off the hell of their life into one version of existence, whether it's these people who are doing it as a quote-unquote work-life balance, right? Where they don't know their experience inside work. Everything, like, just imagine that. Imagine getting severed and you never sleep because you can't sleep at work. So you never have the memory. The person you are inside work is hour after hour, always awake at work. If you sleep, you're docked pay. You get punished. The torture that happens in the break room of the show is insane, but it is literally a hell that you can never escape from, right? You never exist other than at work. And what we saw in the first season, that kind of hell exists in other ways other than work. Whereas maybe if you're a wealthy person and you have kids, and maybe you just don't like the process of having kids. It's difficult to carry a child. It's difficult to give birth. Now imagine you use the severance thing to not experience those minor difficulties of bringing life into the world. But what you're doing is creating another version of yourself that only has ever existed in labor. Right? This is a show that has created hell on earth and has a lot of religious similarities. The business, the company of Lumen is very much like a religious cult. The way it's kind of set up and how everybody's brainwashed and groomed. It is an amazing show. The cliffhanger that they left on at the end of season 1 instantly, unlike any other show, instantly made me want more of the show. It's so much fun to break down, doing the episode by episode recaps. It is a show that benefits putting a microscope to and breaking everything down. So many questions, so many interesting aspects to the show. The dynamic between, the camaraderie between these people that are coworkers inside and getting a glimpse of who these people are outside. It is amazing. It's an amazing show. It on so many levels. It's also gorgeously shot. It has some of the most unique visual style that I've seen any show. It has beautiful cinematography, beautifully framed and choreographed shots that are happening in this place, and just such an addictive mystery. I can't wait to see where it goes, because it's one of those shows where I just want to know more. I just want to know more, you know? So great. Absolutely fun. Easily my number one. And it's a show that really tackles some interesting things and uses the sci-fi nature of it and the technology of it to discuss things that are happening in the real world with capitalism and businesses in general, and a lot of kind of things that we're dealing with in the workplace today and how much worse they could potentially be. But yeah, I love the show. That is why at number 1 is season 1 of Severance, the Apple TV Plus exclusive. So that is my top 5 list. Some honorable mentions. There are some amazing shows. Barry season 3 was amazing. Loved that show. For All Mankind season 3 is amazing as well. Another great show. Wednesday season 1 was a lot of fun. Young adult, really fun. Had a blast watching that. Excited to see what happens. Welcome to Wrexham season 1 was a fun reality docu-series about Ryan Reynolds and the guy from Always Sunny buying a soccer team, a soccer club in Wales. The Boys season 3 was great. That's a show that I love. Can't wait to see what happens. Undone season 2 was amazing. Very surreal. Amazing show. Peacemaker season 1 was a lot of fun as well. So a lot of honorable mentions, very honorable mentions. I loved all of those shows. That just for whatever reason they didn't do something a little bit more than the ones that I recommended, which I will go through that list one more time. This is my top 5 TV series of 2022. Starting off with number 5 is The Rehearsal season 1. Number 4 is Players season 1. Number 3 is The Bear season 1. Number 2 is Reservation Dogs Season 2. And my number 1 favorite TV series of 2022 is Severance Season 1. Let me know your favorite top 5 shows of the past year. I would love to hear them. Is there a show that I should check out that I didn't list here or on my honorable mentions? I would love to hear it. How you would rank your shows, what hidden gems you have for me. There's too many shows out there for me to potentially ever watch and catch up on. But I would love to hear what your favorite shows were of 2022 because I'd love to get into them and see what they're all about. But that's it for this show. Thank you all for tuning in to Top 5 from The Ray Taylor Show. I hope you enjoyed my ranking and analysis of my top 5 favorite TV shows of 2022. And let me know how you would rank them in the comments, of course. But that is it for this episode. Be sure to join the conversation by leaving a comment and rating on your favorite podcast platform or on YouTube if you're watching these. And see you again next week for another Top 5.
New episodes of The Ray Taylor Show come out every single day. Subscribe on YouTube and everywhere our podcasts are found. Binge the full week over at inspireddisorder.com/plus. Buy Ray Taylor Show merch over at inspireddisorder.com. Have a wonderful day, everybody. Peace out!
Today is the day where you wake up and you realize that everything that you've been dreaming about, everything that you've been wanting, every goal and wish and hope that you've ever had can become real. Dreams can come true. What you manifest in your mind, you can bring to reality.